Okay, in this section we're going to talk about needles. Again, there can be a lot of confusion when you start out with SMP. Not knowing what needles to use, not knowing the difference between the needles, the sizes, things like that. They can be quite confusing. Okay, so here I've got two brands of needles that I use. I've got Killer Beauty's SMP needles and I've got Bishop's SMP needles. Why do I use different ones? It's preference. There's no real difference. Sometimes I just decide I want to use Killer Beauty. Sometimes I like using Bishop. And that's it really. There's no clear winner between the two. Sometimes I just forget what one feels like and think that one's better than the other. They're both as good as each other. Okay, but let's get into the technical side of it, the sizing and what the codes mean. Okay, so if we look here on the Killer Beauty needle, we can see it says 30 RL-XT03. Okay, what does this mean? The 30 is the gauge, is the size. This means it's 0.30 of a millimeter. RL means it's a round liner, and the XT means it's extra tight. So in this case, with the Killer Beauty needles, they're actually soldered together. Okay, so the last 03 means that it's 3 needles in one. Okay, so these needles come together as a point, so it's 3 needles wrapped together in one, and these will make one dot at a time for you. Okay, in the case of the Killer Beauty, these are soldered, welded together, so they never split. Okay, this is a problem we have in SMP. Bad quality needles tend to split on us, and we see those 3 needles make impressions on the skin. It makes for bad work. We don't want bad needles. If you're going to invest in anything, invest in good needles. Okay, use a brand that is highly recommended, like Killer Beauty or Bishop. Okay, so let's talk the sizing. These are 0.30 of a millimeter, and these, if you look closely, are 0.25 of a millimeter. And again, round liner, extra tight, 03, 3 needles on that one. Me personally, I never use anything bigger than the 0.30 millimeter needle. I think it's too big, so they also do a 0.35 millimeter needle. This one creates impressions that are too big to replicate hair follicles. So if you're going to get the Killer Beauties, these are the ones to look for. Okay, and when we're looking for needles in general, we want round liners. We want them to be three needles, so they've got to have 3 points. And anything bigger than the 3 points, so you can get 05's too big, 07's too big. You can actually get a 01. I don't like using them. I think they're too small. Okay, so for me, the 03 are perfect. And again, round liner is the key point here on these. Okay, so let's look at the Bishop ones. Set up a little bit differently. Okay, so these say 1003 RLLT. Okay, so what does this one stand for? Bishop do their measurements in different sizes, so they'll put a 10. This is their biggest needle. I think this is the 0.3. Then they've got the number 03, that's how many needles are in there, so 3 needles. Round liner again is the RL, and the LT is long taper. Okay, so this means it's got a longer taper to the point, a nice tight needle. Okay, that's why these work well. And again, we've got one of their smaller sizes, 0603. So this means this needle, I believe, is their 0.20 millimeter, so 0.20 millimeters. 3 needles again, and again, round liner, long taper. Okay, there's not much difference between these needles in quality. They're both very good. It just comes down to preference. What we need to remember when we're buying needles is whether you're buying Bishop, whether you're buying Killer Ring, whether you're buying Quadrant, whether you're buying FYT, whatever it is, it's got to be the 3 round liner. That's the most important part. We don't want to go over the 0.30 millimeter in size. Okay, so if it's Bishop, that is their 10 gauge, whereas on the Killer Ring they give you the actual size. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up another video in the course showing you exactly how to order them online and going through those codes again with you. Okay, I just wanted to show you them in the packet. So that's our 2 grams of needle we use, and I hope that clears that up a little bit.